is.
So, the most important question, Neil, is your t-shirts. You have the best t-shirts in town.
Which ones are those?
Let's see, and we had was it Tide from the film?
Tide, right? That's a nice one. That was a gift.
Was it?
Yeah, they're all gifts. This I gave him Geronimo. It says here, too shaky. Thanks, Geronimo.
People
This is,
just know you. What does it say?
My heroes have always killed cowboys. Geronimo. This is Geronimo here. This is not my, these aren't my sentiments. This is a shirt I got from Geronimo.
So people know you like this kind of t-shirts.
Well, I got some good t-shirts.
I like that one you got, the Elvis's prescription.
Elvis's Last Prescription by George Nikodopoulos, MD. Have you seen that one? Completely has all his drugs written all that down here, that his last prescription, the whole thing. Signed by the good doctor.
That's made the Neil Young T-shirt Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's actually funny. You're not supposed to get emotional. Anything else?
No. What do you mean? Any kind of t-shirts?
Yeah, that are kind
My
of...
favorite t-shirts that I have.
Yeah.
Well, I got a new one. It's kind of nice. This guy riding a horse. They're both skeletons.
This guy, it's from the guy that did this one.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah.
This is mine, Artistic Purgatory. That's where I find myself.
Purgatorio.
Purgatorio Artistico.
Artistico.
And his has a skeleton on a horse, and he's got the Jolly Roger flag, which always flies over the Crazy Horse drum kit. It's kind of a Mexican Day of the Dead Crazy Horse style.
We don't have a lot of shirts. That's, we might be misleading the public here into thinking that we have really a lot of t-shirts.
Pancho, I think, only has 2 t-shirts.
Yeah. The thing is to have good shirts. And that means that we have a lot of waste. We have to send shirts home. We get a lot of free shirts that are no good. They get sent home where they're categorized. Some go to the Goodwill. Some are just given away to friends. Some we make blankets out of. I've seen some old tour blankets, with all the t-shirts from the different tours. My son has one of those. It's a huge one that some friends made for him. We can go on about these t-shirts if you want to.
No, that was an innocent question. But thanks for going out. Well, in the Crazy Horse interview, what was great about it was it feels like it's a whole family affair. What's going on stage, and Jim, were you the guy that was meant to be like doing the family photos the family way? I mean, was that kind of what was going on there? Did you feel that was what you needed to do?
Oh boy, I don't know exactly how to answer. I feel like I was kind of dropped in there to take snapshots, yeah. And because I love the band's music for so long, and then hanging out with them, I got to just love them as people, and watch how they interrelate with each other and how they accepted me being there, not like totally outsider, but they're just really open, amazing people, and that's sort of what the film's about, is where their music comes from, and it comes from their history together and what kind of people they are. And so that's sort of the essence of the film. It's not a real insightful documentary investigation of their history. It is like dropping in and taking snapshots at a certain period. And that really, there's no deeper intention to it than that. It's like, where does this music come from? And then illustrating it with a lot of great music in the film.
Did you set out, were there any ground rules? What you could do, couldn't do? Was it discussed on any level like that?
No, I mean, we were given pretty much free range, and we were sensitive enough to know when not to like burst in on people and stuff like that, and otherwise We were allowed to be on stage with our cameras. We were allowed to, as long as we weren't getting in people's eye contact or diving in front of them on the ground, you know, or anything distracting what they're really there for. And it became very clear, because they're so passionate about what they do, that we were there to sort of document it. We weren't there, you know, they weren't playing for us. They were playing because they're musicians and it's coming out of them for the audience. And so as long as we didn't interfere with that, and we knew that was the priority rather than our filming, there were no real ground rules.
And you were cool with that, Neil? You just wanted it to be what it was?
Well, we just wanted to make a picture that was just, you know, the horse, here we are, you know, kind of a thing. This is basically, we were touring. We just finished doing this video with Jim, and I'd done the Dead Man soundtrack with Jim before that. So we decided, hey, we're going on the road. We want to document this time and space for the horse. Let's get Jim to help us do that. And then our plan would be, we'll shoot a show, and Jim will travel with us for a week or something, and then we'll look at what we got and we'll reevaluate. And the only rules were, let's not spend a fortune, because it's not worth it, really. It's just, you know, we don't need to have a big high-tech or big, you know, super format to do this. This can be done down and dirty, and it would probably be much more realistic to do it that way. You know, kind of more of a, you know, simple, low-tech look to it, and not make too much out of it. And then we evaluate where we're at. If it looked like we had the beginning of something going on, then we keep on going. If not, we just, you know, stop and just keep what we have and do something else some other time.
There was never a point when you felt like it was the Loud family or whatever, you just wanted to get those cameras out of your face, that he didn't do that to you?
We don't do it that way. We really shoot with care. I mean, you know, you want to get in on the stage, but the last thing you want to do is ruin what it is that you're filming. And I think Jim understands that the consciousness of the camera is adverse to the muse, and it's contrary to the goal. So, you know, we don't want to be thinking we're making a movie. We want, and they don't want to make a movie of us thinking we're being filmed. Nobody wants that. So you want to be intimate with the music. So I think the way that the Jim approached it with long lenses, I think what you would say, you were in a lot of instances, although he was on stage himself, and another guy, Larry Johnson, was on stage. These are guys that we've known for a long time, and Jim, who we trust. You know, so people that we know and trust were near us, and they were out of the way. They never got in the way, and we knew they like our music. So that's not a job to them. They're part of it. You know, so it's real important that, you know, that it be that way. And the long lenses, sneaking in there, zooming in there through the atmosphere with the low-grade film, you know, breaking up in front of your eyes, listening to a distorted sound, seeing a distorted picture. It's all together. It's all the way it should be. You know what I? So I think he did an excellent job of capturing us without disturbing us, and much like a nature film.
Each spring, these frisky horses
Right.
emerge from the stable.
And they don't notice the danger over the hill.
Yeah,
It's the
lurking
badger
Yeah.
and jackal circle. You know?
I remember one cool thing, though, when we were in the Phoenix Festival in Birmingham. There were like, what, 50, 60,000 people there, and there were all these English crews there wanting to film, and they had all this elaborate video stuff set up in the house and all this. And so the head of the whole festival's organizing all that, the shooting, visual image stuff for, you know, interfacing with all these crews, had a meeting with like some of Neil's guys, Tim Foster, or a couple guys, that really tall guy. And if you don't know these guys, they're pretty intimidating. You'd think they were like outlaw biker type guys. So they're with these English guys, and they made it very clear that the word came down from Neil, and L.A. Johnson and I were there at this meeting, and the word came down like, listen, These two guys are allowed on the stage. Nobody else goes near the stage. Nobody get in his eye line. Nobody down in front. These two guys. And they're like, yes, okay, we understand. It's quite evident. It's very clear. And so, is it clear? And then Larry and I went away, and we were like really proud. We were like, yeah, we're down with the horse. You know, we can go on stage. It was very like American.
Right. Last thing you want is some guy with a video camera out there that's talking to somebody on a headset that's doing his 8th band for the day.
Right.
You know, I say, you know, get those hackers out of the way.
Take camera forward,
Right.
please.
If you're going to do it, do it. You know, if you want to do a news thing, go do a news thing. This is, you know, get out of the way.
Well, it sounds very natural, though. It was as just living, breathing. It is what it is. There's no trumpeting the rock stars with the long shots from up and seeing Neil 12 feet high.
We couldn't do that because of my kid. I didn't have the nose hair thing.
Yeah, right.
Hence the Super 8.
Yeah, and the Super 8, we shot the video for Big Time on Super 8, and we liked how it looked. And we liked that quality of Super 8 so much. And it also was very practical. I mean, secondarily, but so intimate and easy to just have a little camera you can pull out at any moment.
That new film.
Yeah, and we got high-speed film stock prepared, loaded into Super 8 cassettes. So it was like a mixing of high-tech with real low-tech together. The quality of Super 8 is just really tactile and sensual in a way to me.
I love it.
It's
I
really,
love it. Because the only weakness is when you got like 350 cassettes you have to sync up and everything.
well, the other weakness is
2 minute
too,
long
you get
thing.
2 minutes long. So you couldn't,
Not
we
much
did
of
the
a run.
interviews in video because it was like somebody be in the middle of a answer and we, sorry, you got to reload. And it was
Reload,
just
yeah.
impossible. So we shot those down on video.
Yeah, but as you said, the look and the feel, you can't replace it, can you? Just
No, it's just, I love grain and I love the quality. I just love what light does to film material. And Super 8 gives you that in an extra kind of raw dose of that, you know? It's very beautiful.
I mean, you could easily, they've had these rockumentaries and that sort of thing. You could have easily taken this as a commercial. Sounds like that was the last thing you wanted to do. Trumpet a myth, trumpet a rock star, trumpet this and that.
But that's sort of I mean, that's like contrary to what the band even stands for.
That's not something we would try to do. I think it's something we'd leave for someone else to do if they want to do that. As long as it doesn't get in our way, I mean, you know.
But they're like the least rock star poser type band. They stand for everything exactly opposite to that, you know? So that would be a little insidious to try to
We can
present
still
them.
pose our asses off, though. We can pose. If we want to pose, we can pose. I mean, we learned from the best.
Yeah. You haven't taught the best?
No. We taught the worst. We taught the other students.
The ones that failed.
Yeah, right. They're our most learned classmates.
Well, I mean, you know, you didn't want a puff piece. You really just, this is a day in the life. Well, more than that, why did you go through 3 decades?
Just because I got to see the film Muddy Track that I'd only heard about a year ago, and I finally got a copy from Neil, which is a great movie that Neil made in 1986. And then Neil said, oh, we got this other footage from 76, and I looked through the log book of what was in there, and Neil suggested some stuff that he sent me, so it was just available. So, you know, making this kind of film without a plan, you just collect a bunch of stuff that you shot or whatever else you have, and then it suggests to you what kind of film, you know, how to shape it into a film. It wasn't very calculated.
You know, we were trying to find the continuity throughout the years, because some of it was quite miraculous, especially when you were syncing up.
Like a hurricane.
Yeah, like a hurricane, yeah. Extraordinary. I mean, maybe there's some electronic trickery.
No, none. In fact, it was amazing. Neil was talking about this earlier today, about that we use the music from 76 at one point over the image from 96, and it wasn't. And it's not only did it sync up, it was in the same key, it was in the same pitch, and it just slid right in. And then we made a visual dissolve from one to the other. But the music's pulled up before the dissolve, so there's him singing from 20 years ago.
You're looking at me now, and it sounds like, wow, well, for one thing, I sound very good because it's 20 years ago you're listening to. But very clear and kind of, so what happens when you make that transition to, you know, when he cuts back 20 years, there's no change in the music. So you hide the change, you know. The change has already happened. We play with the track, we're playing away, and you got the real soundtrack, and we're playing the instrumental, the introduction, all this stuff. Then it goes to this verse, and when we went to the verse, the picture stays in 80 or 90, whatever, whenever last year. And then, but the sound changes, goes back 20 years. And then, and you don't notice it, because it happens right when the singing starts, and it's, the form of the song is the same. And so at the end of that verse, then it cuts away back into this, into now, and you just don't notice the difference. You just don't notice it.
Oh, so that wasn't mixing the sound, it wasn't segueing the sound at all.
No, the sound was, I think, a hard cut that was done in a different place in the picture. So there was no sound cut under the picture cut. So that's why the picture cut was so seamless.
I figured you had like a 24-track analog and you were mixing it with a 24. But it still looks beautiful. It's amazing. It's an amazing shot. It's an amazing.
I think the you know, Jim's idea of doing that was really a good use of what we had to work with.
Well, more, doesn't it speak volumes about, you know, Crazy Horse?
Well, look at my guitar. I mean, my guitar in there is, you know, it's practically new in the old picture.
Yeah, that's what I thought was funny.
It's so shiny. And
yeah, Neil came to New York to look when we were cutting to help us edit some of the music and see what he thought. We were working on Hurricane, and then that cut happens from Neil now to Neil then, and Neil literally jumped up, and I thought he was going to say something about himself. And he said, "Look at old Black, his Les Paul. She's so shiny and new. Look how beautiful she was." Oh. He literally jumped out of his seat, you know. Jay Rabinowitz and I, the editor, were really laughing. And we were, after he left, we were really laughing about that.
But I mean, to hold it that in 20 years' time, isn't that extraordinary? I mean, we were talking Crazy Horse about that, the continuity factor when you're supposed to implode in this business in a few years and you've got a pretty decent career.
well, we never followed the prescribed directions.
No one gave you the book?
They didn't. They did, but I think we threw it back at them or something. But we never had the success that bands that implode have.
Meaning you didn't have the big explosion.
No, we turned that off as soon as it started happening, because that's the destructive time when you get bigger than life.
Could you explain that?
Well, look around, Guns N' Roses. It burns too bright, you're gone. If you believe your own myth, you're history.
And you were conscious of slowing that down or tempering it?
Avoiding it. Like you get to a certain point with popularity and then you have to go the other way. It's a part of long-term preservation. You don't nurture that. That's like something you try to stay away from, because it'll take everything you have. It's like the golden egg syndrome. You don't want it. You don't want to be at the top forever. You won't be there for long. There's not enough room up there.
Yeah, but isn't that like the forbidden fruit that you want, but you think you shouldn't have, and most people want to take a bite?
It's getting there, and that's a cliche. Getting there, not. It's on the way there, not getting there. Forbidden fruit is probably not that good. But I don't want to be, I mean, it's too late. It's all retrospect now. But to be, I think the way we've lasted is by avoiding the, the kind of success that can injure you.
I think all interesting artists are people that I admire or and am inspired by. Their work is always a process. It's not getting to a certain place and then standing on that pedestal and jerking off, like which a lot of people do when they get up there. It's more about continuing to find you know, to find to go through that process, and that to me is much more interesting.
Build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down, build it up, tear it down. It's all just keep on going. Don't build it up and go, wow, look how great this is. I'm going to stand on top of this for a while. I'm going to take my picture here for a long time. It's over. History. Here's a photograph.
So you've seen that a million times. We all have.
I've been there so many times and tried to avoid it, and you know, and seen it a lot. Yeah.
But isn't everyone around you saying, "Hey, you're doing all the wrong things. You're being self-destructive"?
We don't talk to them. Never look the devil in the eye. That's what they say.
Well, it's worked.
Don't look at yourself in a mirror. I guess it's working. Feels good. Like we're still here. We're rocking.
Well, when you're playing the tunes, it looks like you're digging into the songs for the first time. I don't know if you're actually feeling it that way, but it's like you're discovering things each time. Is it that way? I mean,
it is, and if we take it to a point where the song, where we really cream the song and it's a beautiful thing, then it's time to drop the song now. Get rid of it.
you've done that.
Yeah. I mean, we build a set around 2 or 3 songs and then do a great night and drop those 3 songs. Come back the next night with a challenge. How do you live without that? How do you live without the songs you're hanging your hat on? How do you go out there and make the set work without them? Give them a rest. They're golden. You got to give them a rest. You put them away. Let them. Don't pay any more attention to it. That's the way we try to do it. That's the way I try to call the shots on the stage when we're out there.
So you're constantly pushing the goalposts further.
Try to make it as hard as you can. Try not to use the ones that you know are going to work. If you use them too much, you know, you can get better with them all the time until it reaches a certain point. Then when you think, wow, that was really a great version of that, it's time to stop doing it for a while. Right away. Not one more night.
And
It's like respecting the power of something. You know, if you don't respect it, it doesn't have it anymore.
what about the security blanket of knowing you can do that song?
Security and rock and roll have no place together. There's no. That's not what it's about. Security, you know. I'm so secure. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. You can't have security and play rock and roll. You got to get rid of security, even if you're pretending that you don't have security. You know, if you got guys with security written on their shirts all around you.
Well, and that keeps you fresh, doesn't it?
That's the hope. That's it. And then every once in a while, if you're lucky, you get to drop some new things in. That, you know, if they come your way and you grab them, then you drop them in there and displace the big winners with those. Throw the children in. See how they do.
Could you ever see yourself quitting the music business?
I don't think I'll ever quit the music business. I don't really know how I'm going to live in it, but I think I'll find my own way.
I think you have, haven't you?
So far, so good.
I guess the formula is just don't listen to anybody. Well,
Including myself, I guess, sometimes.
You have a lot of fights with yourself?
It's a constant battle. I want it to be easy, too, you know. I want to sing Rockin' in the Free World because it kicked their ass last night. But the boss says I can't do that. There's a war going on.
He's a contrary. You know, in Native American culture, contraries that may walk backwards and do things backwards. Neil's definitely a contrary. I've learned that much about him.
I am not.
See what I mean?
Well, in many ways, do you feel you're the same guy you started out in that sense? The philosophy?
When I started out, I saw a film of myself lately at the Hall of Fame awards thing, where I was saying, "Oh, I just wanted to be a big star. I came down here." You know, it's a changing dream. You know, you can have one dream and you can live your dream and that's it, and you're finished. The damn whole thing's over. As soon as I started to get some sort of success, I realized that I didn't want success, that kind of success wasn't good, that the real success was going to come from music, from succeeding at playing music. And, that's why I am who I am. That's why I'm campaigning for better sound, for better standards for recorded sound, things that we could be doing that we're not doing in the music industry.
Well, it's as you said in the film, it's to get purer and purer.
Yeah. That's what Mr. Briggs said. Yeah.
He's your producer for many years.
Yes.
Did he give you the title of the film?
I'd
say Year of the Horse?
One of the guys in the band said, what was it, Ralph said that?
I think Ralph says that Briggs said that to him, or said it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That this, you
Year of the
asked
Horse.
Briggs what to do, and he said this should be the Year of the Horse.
And it is.
So far, so good.
Well, they're cutting me off, so we're cut off.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Oh, it's hot.
It is.
Really